Hey guys, welcome to Unravel Me. I'm Anna, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do a lovely little lace heart pattern. This will be perfect for Mother's Day, or since this is probably coming out after Mother's Day because I tend to always be behind on holidays, then it will be for next Mother's Day or Valentine's Day, whatever you decide you would like to make a heart pattern for. Here we go! Okay, so for our lovely little heart pattern today, I have this beautiful purple yarn. The brand is Patons Metallic. I think it's in color dark purple, and it may have been discontinued, but I'm going to try and see if I can find any links for you guys if you wanted to get it. I thought it would be real pretty to make our heart with. For our needles, I'm just using some DPNs, which if you don't know, it's double pointed needles. If you just have plain knitting needles, that's fine too. This is going to be size 8 or 5 millimeter. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our cast on. We're going to start by doing a long-tailed cast on, the way that I like to do it so that I know exactly how much yarn I need. Is I'm going to drape just a little bit of a tail over towards the front here, and this pattern is 13 stitches wide and 15 rows, so I'm going to do 6 extra stitches, so we're going to do 19 total stitches. So I've got draped over here, and you're going to wrap it around 19 times with just a little bit of space in between each stitch. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Perfect. So that should be how much yarn we need for our long tail cast on. To make sure that you're casting on from the right end so that you're using up that tail, you're going to drape that tail over the needle where it's facing you, and then you're just going to bring your index finger on it and bring it towards the back, and it's going to twist over the yarn that's attached to the ball and bring your thumb up with that. So just to be clear, the tail end is what you're going to be grabbing, and it's going to be wrapped around your needle. So for that long tail cast on, you bring your thumb up, the needle point goes under the yarn, and it's going to grab the tail, and remember that's that tail piece, and come through that loop. And that's how you're going to know that you're using up all that tail yarn for the right number of stitches and have just enough left over to have a tail. So again, through this loop on your thumb, and you're grabbing the tail yarn and pulling it through. And to have a nice long tail cast on, you always want just a little bit of space in between each stitch so it's not so tight that you can't make a stitch out of it. So we're going to do, what I said, 19 stitches. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I hope you're casting on with me. 10, 11, 12, 13. You're probably going faster than I am right now. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Perfect. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19. And when you do a long tail cast on, that first row is naturally going to be a purl row. So I like to do my garter stitch border by purling every row. And on the very first row, I always work that first stitch and then slip it on every row thereafter. Alright, so there's our first row. We're going to turn our work, and since I'm purling, I'm going to bring that yarn to the front, and I always slip that first stitch now. And we're going to continue to purl across since we're doing the garter stitch. So go ahead and do a few rows of this, and I will meet you at the end. So now that you have your lovely garter stitch border, we want to knit just a couple of rows of stockinette while keeping the garter stitch border on the first 3 and the last 3 stitches at either side. And this is just to give us a nice background for which our heart is going to go on. So if you have been knitting your garter stitch border, go ahead and knit. We'll slip the first stitch and then knit the next 2. If you've been purling like I have, we're just going to purl those next 2 stitches and then knit across, then knit across to the last 3 stitches, and do your garter stitch border. And I'm going to purl back and then do 2 more rows. So I'll purl back and then knit 1 more row and purl 1 more row so that we have a nice little base for our heart to sit on. And then I will meet you back here at the beginning of the next knit row. Okay, so we are back, and as you can see, I've got my lovely little garter stitch border here, as well as along the edges, and this lovely little stockinette pattern that's starting to come in here. It can be a little difficult to see with this yarn, but it's very pretty. So we're going to start on the very first row of our actual pattern now. So again, let's do our 3 garter border stitches. And I am going to put the chart up on the screen, so you can go ahead and pause and take a screenshot of it if you like, and just continue on from there. So if you know how to read charts and would like to just take off on this on your own, go ahead and copy it. If you'd like to continue knitting along with me, then let's continue from here. So we have done our 3 border stitches, and now we are going to knit the first 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to do a yarn over, so just bringing the yarn around front to the back. And then we're going to do a left leaning decrease, in this case a slip slip knit. So to do a proper slip slip knit, you're going to slip one off of your needle purlwise, slip the second off of your needle purlwise, slip it off of your needle knitwise, slip the second one off of your needle knitwise, and then bring that needle back into the front and knit them together through the back loop there. And I'll show you closer up when we get to the next one. So now we're just going to knit the next 6 stitches, or until there are 3 stitches left on your needles, and then do the garter stitch. Now all of the wrong side rows, as you can see on the chart, are just purling across and purl across. Now if you did your garter stitch border with knit stitches, make sure that you are knitting those first and last 3 stitches. I've been doing mine with just purl, so I'm going to just continue purling. Okay, now we are on the second row of our heart. And here we are going to, again, do our border. And we're going to knit the first 4, then we knit 2 together. So we're just going to put our needle into those 2, knit them together, and then we have a yarn over, so bringing the yarn from the back to the front and back again, and then we knit 1, which is right above that last yarn over that we did, and then we're going to yarn over once more, and now do a slip slip knit, which is that left leaning decrease. So we slip it as if to knit, slip it as if to knit, put that left needle into the front of the stitches, wrap it around the back, and knit them together. And then we knit the next 4. and finish with our garter stitch border. So we're starting to get somewhere. We're gonna turn that around and purl it back. Okay. We are now on row 5, and so let's start again with our border. So we're going to knit the next 3 stitches. Do our right leaning decrease, so our knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 3, yarn over, slip slip knit, left leaning decrease, and knit 3, and our border. Alright, so you're starting to see the beginnings of the heart form. Let's go ahead and purl it back. So as you can see, basically we're just getting those yarn overs further and further apart and building up that heart down the center. So row 7, start with our border. We're going to knit 2. Right leaning decrease, so knit 2 together. Yarn over, knit 5. Yarn over, and slip slip knit, our left leaning decrease. You're probably beginning to see a pattern here. We're going to knit 2 and do our border stitches. Alright, let's purl back. And if you tend to be a faster knitter than I am knitting right now, you can always speed up the video to 1.5 or 2 times as fast. It's something that I like to do a lot when I'm watching knitting videos. Alright, row 11. This one we're going to begin right at the edge. So we start, of course, always have our little border pattern. And we are going to knit 2 together right from the beginning here. Yarn over, knit 4, yarn over, and slip slip knit, left leaning decrease. We're going to knit 3, and then we are going to yarn over and slip slip knit once more. And then we do our border stitches. We're almost done. It's starting to look like a heart. We're on the back side here. So let's go ahead and purl back now. Okay, turning our work. Yay, we're getting a heart. Okay, row 13, we're almost finished. Always remember to do your garter stitch border. Here we're going to knit 1, yarn over, and slip slip knit, knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 1. There's a bird right next to me. Okay, knit 2 together. I don't want to scare it off, it's so cute. Yarn over and knit 1. And now just do your last border stitches. Alright, while we're purling back, I'm going to see if I can show you guys this bird. Alright, well, so of course it flew off as soon as I tried to get my camera on it, but so instead I will show you this adorable little raccoon that I saw the other day while you guys are purling back, and I hope that makes up for it. So now we are back. You can start to see our lovely little heart forming here. I believe you can see that. We'll get a better image of it once we're finished here. And we are on our very last row of the actual pattern. So let's go ahead and do our garter stitch border like always. And we're going to knit 2, yarn over. Here's where we do our center double decrease. So what we're going to do is we're going to slip 2 off the hook as if we are doing a purl 2 together, but we are not. We're just slipping them. You're going to knit that next stitch, and now we're going to grab both of those stitches that you just slipped together and bring them up and slip them over that stitch to slip them off. So next you're going to do a yarn over, knit 3, yarn over. Alright, here we go again. So slip those 2 as if to knit, actually knit that 3rd stitch, and then pick up those other 2 and bring them on over. Perfect. Yarn over and knit the next 2 stitches. And that's it. You have completed your heart. We do want to finish this up though into a cute little square. So I believe we had done, what was it, 3 stitches or 3 rows? So we're going to give a nice little border on the top of our heart as well. So we're going to purl back, knit a row, and then purl a row, just to give it that lovely little top border. And while you guys are doing this, I just want to thank you so much for being here. Even just watching my videos is super supportive, and I really appreciate it. If you liked this and would like to see more videos, please let me know by liking or just commenting below. Also, let me know what what knitting questions you have. That's would be super useful to know what kind of videos you guys would like to see next. Okay. Now we are and just doing a plain knit round with our border stitches, of course. And last plain row, we're just going to purl back. It's getting a little chilly out here. Okay, so now we just want to finish up our garter stitch border. So if you were knitting your border, go ahead and just knit the next 3 rounds. If you were purling like I was, we're going to go ahead and just purl our next 3 rounds. And we're on our very last row here. Alright, now it is time to bind off, and there are so many ways to bind off. I'm just going to slip this first stitch, and then we will just purl that second one, put the left-hand needle into the back and then purl the two of them together. It's always a nice one for me. So now that we've done that first one, purl that second one there. Make sure your yarn is in front of your needle. Put that needle behind the two of the stitches that are on that right needle and purl them together. I'll show you one more time. Purl. Put the needle behind in the back of the stitches and purl them together. So let's go ahead and just do that all the way across. And it's going to like to be difficult sometimes. So I'll go ahead and finish this and then meet you at the end. Alright, so we're on the last stitch here. I'm going to knit it, or purl it. And then purl the two of them together. Ta-da! Alright, let's get our scissors. That yarn through. My fingers don't want to work because it's cold out here now. There we go, yay! Let's look at what we got. So you will want to block this out, where you'll kind of wash it and then maybe stretch it out, especially since it's a lace pattern. You usually always want to block out lace. But there is our beautiful, lovely little heart. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I will have a fast version of it as well as the long, slow, knit-along version of it for you to follow. Here we have our lovely, adorable little heart pattern. So this can be incorporated into a pair of socks, into sweaters, whatever garment you might find use for a lovely little knit pattern. You could do dishcloths, coasters, anything really. So have fun with that, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys!